changes with it. Svechnikov shoots, he scores! The power play continues to be smoking on the road. And the Hurricanes take a 1-0 lead. Blake taking a look, holding up, to score! What a pass! Jackson Blake to Jack Drury. Back-to-back Jacks. 2-0 Carolina. And now Jarvis in on a break, and he scores! Oh my goodness! Undresses Decord and goes top cheddar on the backhand. 3-1 Carolina.
Well, good morning or good afternoon. I don't know what time it is where you are. Welcome to the Canes Corner podcast. I am Adam Gold. 4-1 Hurricanes, broken record time. Hurricanes played another great game. Also, broken record time. Hurricanes maybe could have scored a little more. But they get the 4-1 win. Goals from Svechnikov and Drury and Jarvis and Orlov into an empty net. And that was it. Freddie Andersen was great again. And again, broken record time. Freddie Andersen was great again. My word. Hurricanes, again, once start to finish, just a really strong performance. Can we extend the State Fair? Can we do another week? Can Scotty McCreary come play? Welcome to the Canes Corner podcast. I am Adam Gold. We're brought to you by the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. If it is for the exterior of your home, you can find it at the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. No place like it. Sammy Hanna and his crew do a great job. And here we go. All right. Let's, if you want to tell me where you are, we'll give you a shout out. I know we had a bunch of Hurricanes fans in Seattle. Can't imagine any of you are listening or watching the Canes Corner podcast right now because, frankly, if you're on a road trip to Seattle to watch the Hurricanes, you should be, I don't know, having a cup of coffee somewhere. But we'll shout you out if you want. All right, let's get to a couple of things. We might not be here quite as long today simply because it is already, for those people local, almost 1:30 in the morning Eastern time, which, if I'm not mistaken, means that it is 12:30 just after lunch in Perth, and it is, I believe, 3 o'clock in Adelaide. 3 o'clock in Adelaide. All right. And I don't know what time it is in Latvia. Here you go, Mikhailov. We're doing okay. Hurricanes keep winning, so everybody is good. All right. Let's start from the goal mouth out. We'll do it this way today. We'll start from goal, and then we will get to it. Andy went to the game. I don't know if he went to the game. He's in Seattle. Hello from Saudi Arabia. Okay, man. That's absolutely awesome. All right, let's get to it. Freddie Andersen. Do you remember all the time that I spent, whether it was at the end of last season, during this summer, at the beginning of the year, saying, man, I just think the Hurricanes need to move on from Frederik Andersen. He's been good, but just need more. What a dope. Why would you ever listen to me? Andy went to the game. So here are the numbers 4 games in. Andersen is 3-1. He's got, trying to think, there they are. 3-1 in 4 starts. He lost his first start. He has won his last 3. He's got a 148 goals against average and a 941 save percentage. Now, remember in the first game he played, Tampa didn't take a lot of shots. That was a low event game. And he gave up 2 goals. And the second goal, we all remember, wasn't a great goal. But my gosh, has he been good. And he gave up the 1 goal tonight in a breakaway. It was like the 4th breakaway that Seattle had. And he gives up the goal to make it 2-1. He's getting a little nervous. He made 1 or 2 challenging saves the rest of the way as the team in front of him got better after the goal. But I want to go back to the end of the second period because I mentioned it in the second intermission. Just want to put a little circle around this. So it's 2-0 Carolina. They're getting another power play, a 4-minute power play that wasn't going to be able to use all 4 minutes at the end of the period. First 3 minutes were spent at the end of the second, and you were going to have a minute of it basically carrying over to the third. And the Hurricanes were good on the power play. They just didn't score on this. The best scoring chance, though, came from Seattle as McCann got loose behind the defense, and he came in on Andersen, and Andersen just calmly, as McCann tried to go 5-hole, Andersen just calmly shut it down. And think about how the intermission feels, because there was only like 3 seconds left in the period when McCann got, put the puck on the net. But think how different the intermission is. If that goal gets in, now it's 2-1. Yeah, Carolina's got a minute of power play time. But, man, giving up shorthanded goals are killers, especially when you are looking to kind of put the hammer down. But he makes the save. All is good. Carolina didn't score on the power play, but they were playing well, and even at the start of the third period, the power play didn't connect. But Carolina was going on doing their thing, dominating the puck. And I mentioned this before. With about 11 minutes to go in regulation, it was still 2-0 Carolina at this point. About 11 minutes to go in regulation. At 5-on-5, the Kraken had attempted just 12 shots. Attempted 12 shots. At 5-on-5 to that point, the Hurricanes had been it was like 50. So at 5-on-5, again, there's a lot of power play time for Carolina. Obviously, 5-on-5 is eaten into, so it's not like it was 50 minutes roughly of 5-on-5 time, but still 12 shot attempts, not even shots on goal, shot attempts. Seattle only was impactful in terms of the style of play. Apart from just little bits here and there, they were only impactful on their power play. But Carolina didn't give up any power play goals again. Pretty good road trip. 17 of 18 killing penalties on this road trip so far. Mostly tonight it was Andersen doing the job, but there were some moments. Jacob Slavin, erased the 2-on-1. There were some good moments across the board, but this was mostly a Frederik Andersen event when it comes to the penalty kill doing its job. But there's a cliche for a reason. Your best penalty killer needs to be your goaltender, and Freddie was certainly that. So but I just go back to the way last year ended and how unsure most of us were. And I'm at the head of this class that Andersen could come back and be the goalie, because if he doesn't get off to a good start, the knives are out, man. Hurricanes fans had seen that. And now Andersen's off to this great start. And yeah, exactly. And on top of that, the way Kochetkov played in Calgary on Thursday just highlights how good a goaltending situation. Now we're 7 games in, so let me just break up the sentence there for a second. We are just 7 games in. But the way Andersen is playing, the way Kochetkov can play and did on Thursday in Calgary, Hurricanes goaltending situation is probably, I'd have to think about it for just a second. Now, they don't have a Shesterkin, an Ottinger, They don't have one of those, right? And Vasilevsky, who had the 31 save shutout tonight. But as a tandem, there just aren't many tandems in the league better than what Carolina's got. Now, Jonathan Quick had 31 saves for the Rangers tonight. So I think the Rangers tandem, especially when you have Shesterkin as part of it, that's better. But there's probably not 6 teams in the league that have a better goaltending situation than Carolina. Now, can they get one of those guys to be, lights out in the playoffs for an extended period? Or maybe this is a year, if it's not one or the other, where Rod does utilize both goalies in the playoffs. I'll believe that when I see it. So let's just leave it at that. But goaltending and Andersen, just absolutely spectacular tonight. All right, now let's get to the defense. Jacob Slavin took a puck off the side of the head, maybe just below the ear flap. Fine. Slavin had, it's like, they flashed up the stats, and I forget what I meant to take a screen grab of it and send it out. But, interceptions, like 4 defensive stats, and Jacob Slavin is first, 7th, and 1st in the NHL. The 23rd best defenseman in the league. I'll just joke around with that. ESPN's list of the top 100 players in the league had Slavin in it at number 96, but 23rd best among defensemen. There aren't 23 defensemen in the league better than Jacob Slavin, we all agree, and there aren't any of them who are better defensively. 0 of them are better defensively. And Slavin put on another one of his Jacob Slavin masterclass defensive efforts, albeit he did get caught on the McCann goal. Happens. But Slavin does so many good things. We are willing to give him a pass. But Jacob did another one of his Jacob Slavin games. Throughout the first 7 games this season, or let's just say the 6, because before tonight, if you look at what Carolina has put out there defensively, the Slavin-Burns pairing has been their second best pairing. Granted, they are getting first-choice defensive assignments every night. But the best pairing had been the Ghost Walker duo. But again, they're not getting the top lines all the time. Now, Rod really isn't hiding them, but he is clearly putting, especially on the road here, he is putting them, the Gostisbehere and Walker, a lot of times with Aho's line. And on this road trip, Aho's line has been occupied by a lot of checking lines, which may or may not be a good idea. So I don't think there's been a lot of danger for Walker and Gostisbehere, but they have been spectacular. The defensive pair that has needed to pick up their game a little bit has been Orlov and Chatfield. Now, part of that, I believe, is that Orlov came in, my understanding is, based on reading between the lines, that Orlov came in out of shape. And while Chatfield was in great shape, and to me almost always plays well, he's like a poor man's Slavin. He wasn't quite able to make Orlov passable at the beginning of the first few games of the season. Tonight, I thought Chatfield was probably at his best, and Jalen has had his own mistakes. It's not just, messing up trying to cover for Orlov. He's had his own mistakes. But he was really good tonight, I thought. So it's good to see him play well. I think Dimitry is slowly getting to where he needs to be. He did get burned down the right side by, who was it? Was it Bjorkstrand? Somebody just walked him down the right side late on in the game. So I've been saying this for weeks. I think Brent Burns is playing maybe his best defensive hockey. He's only got 1 point. And I think Burns has been excellent so far through 7 games. All right, let's spend a few minutes talking about a couple of players up front. I'm going to start with after about, I'm going to say 4 periods where Jackson Blake looked like maybe it's run its course. I think every time you see a rookie who wasn't necessarily expected to make the team, and you see the play drop off a little bit, you go, all right, maybe he wasn't really ready. And then you get a game like tonight where he was ready. He's ready. Jackson Blake, I don't know that he's going to be here all year. He would have to probably fall off significantly for maybe a couple of weeks before the team would entertain the idea of sending him back down, or sending him down, because he really hasn't played a lot in the minor leagues. Remember, he came out of North Dakota last year and signed his contract. He might have played a couple of games in the AHL. Then the Hurricanes called him up, and he played at the end of the year. But, I think it was either the last game or maybe the last 2 games. And then Blake was great in training camp. But he was excellent tonight. I thought not only did Blake have the assist on the Drury goal, but there were probably a half dozen other times where he was part of a forecheck that hounded the puck, created offensive opportunities. I'd like to see him shoot the puck more. Don't be afraid. On that line, if I could just speak directly to you, Jackson Blake, on that line, shoot. Who's going to score on that line if it's not Jackson Blake? Unless you're going to do that to put the puck on Jack Drury's stick. So we want to see Jackson. We want to see 53 shoot the puck. But he was excellent tonight. Made a couple of good defensive plays. I used his speed and his creativity, I think, to Carolina's advantage. So it's good to see Blake play a good game. And that line was pretty doggone dominant. I was just looking at it. At 5-on-5, that line had an expected goals against of 0. 0. They were on the ice for 2 goals at 5-on-5, but one of them, I believe, was the empty net goal. But they were absolutely awesome tonight. And Drury was very good, but Blake was great. And William Carrier, there were 3 pickups in the offseason. There were more than 3 among the forwards. Tyson Jost is in the minor leagues. But of the 3 forward pickups that the Hurricanes added in the offseason, and look, you lose Teuvo Teravainen, you lose Steph Nason, it's going to be noticeable, right? Those are 2 big, really big pieces. You lose Jake Guentzel. So when you replace Guentzel, Turbo, and Nason, gosh, how many points skated out the door there? Just do the math in my head. Let's just say, 55, 35, 90 if you prorate over, over the course of a season. 180 points skate out the door, and you replace it with Carrier, Robinson, Roslovic. Man, all 3 of the forward additions have added something to this team. I think Carrier's played excellent. Not going to score. He's not going to pile up a bunch of points. But he plays hard, fast, gets the puck out of corners. And that line was good. And I think there was a big part of it that was William Carrier on that line. And then you see what Robinson is doing on a game-in, game-out basis, and Roslovic was good again tonight. We're still having problems with the empty net. And not when the goalie is out, not when the goalie is pulled, but when the goalie is down and out or out of position. Got to be able to score those. Roslovic had 1, and Svechnikov also had 1. But look, we're not going to complain after a 4-1 win. But all 3 of those forward additions have been really good. And I think it's worth, maybe giving a little hat tip to Eric Tulsky for that. All right, so Chase says, remember, you can always put stuff in the chat here. Oh, I gave Eric Tulsky credit when people wanted me to give him credit, and I didn't see that they said that. Great minds, all right? Chase says that Ghost is an upgrade from Skjei. Now, Shane Gostisbehere is playing really well. But please. Brady Skjei was for Carolina. Absolutely elite. Elite. There's a reason why he got paid $7 million a year from Nashville. So I love Ghost. I do. And I think he's played really well, and he's played really well defensively. But we're a little prisoner of the moment if we're really thinking that he is outplaying. Now, he's playing very well right now, and I'm not sure Skjei had moments where he was playing better than this, but look, Ghost is playing really well. Well, I'm sure there'll be some leveling off here. He's probably not going to be on a 70-point pace for all that long. By the way, Skjei got the game-winning assist in overtime as Nashville won tonight. All right, so just continuing with the forwards, and we're going to again, we're not going to spend a ton of time here. We've already been here about 20 minutes. I thought Andrei Svechnikov started the game out and played most of the game like exactly the power forward you want. Could have had a couple. Could have had a hat trick tonight. But he was so good early, and he gets the power play goal. Yeah, and I personally think when Andrei starts scoring, I think the goals, well, not I think, they generally come in bunches. We are waiting for the Sebastian Aho train really to leave the station, the offensive train. And meanwhile, while we're waiting for that, he's got 7 points in 7 games. But Andrei now has 6 points, couple of goals, 4 assists. But he has just about every night been the power forward you want. He just hasn't scored the goals. But tonight, great pass from Necas on the power play. I thought Gostisbehere got the puck up. Seth Jarvis came in with speed, left it for Necas. A quick pass to Andrei. Kind of a diagonal pass. It was sort of in the middle of the ice, but to the right side of it for Necas. And Andrei was in the inside part of the left faceoff circle. Great pass and a great quick finish as Svechnikov made it 1-0 on the power play. But it's good to see Andrei play well. It's good to see his great pass by Necas. I thought that line was a little bit quiet tonight. It had some moments, but I thought that line was a little quiet tonight. But Seth Jarvis had another bloody good game. He got a little stick to the face tonight. A little Seth Jarvis blood showed up. He's such a tough kid. I talked to Rod before the game because I think it's very cool how well he plays with Staal and Martinook, because I think deep down that's the style Seth wants to play. I really do. I think it's the style he wants to. Like, he could be fancy. He could be a high-skill player, and he was on the goal, but he's going to get those opportunities. He's going to get them. And the finish tonight was just absolutely incredible. It was really a subtle, move to the forehand, but he never really got to the move. I think Decor just assumed he was doing it. And then Seth just dragged it back and flipped it to the middle of the net with his toe. Tremendous goal. And it came at the right time because Seattle had gotten a little momentum in the game. And that's the one thing about the game that kind of bugged me, and I think it probably had you guys nervous too. I had 2 moments of it because it was basically right before the Drury goal. where I'm thinking all of this great play and it's still just 1-0. It would really stink if this didn't go well because you didn't take advantage of your moments. The Drury goal, great pass from Blake, makes it 2-0. And then when it's 2-1, you're going, nah, we can't let this one go. Quick aside, last year in the game in Raleigh, the Kraken had a 2-0 lead. Jesperi Kotkaniemi scores the game-tying goal as the Hurricanes, I think, scored twice in the third period. And then Necas wins it in overtime. But the Kraken had a 2-0 lead after 2 periods, only for Carolina to come back and win it in overtime. And I thought the way, Seattle was going, even though Andersen was playing great, they were starting to get some chances. And this is a team that just came back. I forget who it was. They lose in overtime to Winnipeg. But look, Seattle's a good team. Are they a playoff team? I think there's a lot of teams in the middle, I think, in the West. I think Seattle has a chance to be a pretty good team. I think they need the goaltending we saw tonight from Joey Decord. That's the goaltending they're going to need all year. He played really well tonight. They need a little bit more on defense. I think they're a little loose and open defensively. Carolina, I think their forecheck really, really bothered the Kraken tonight. But so many good things happened. Real quick, on the trip, the power play is 6 out of 18. The penalty kill, 17 out of 18. A lot of that is the goaltending of late. I didn't think the penalty kill was as sharp tonight, but they kind of got away with it, right? And if you look at the standings, suddenly the Hurricanes are 5-2. I want to answer one question from Vince, or at least a comment from Vince, because I believe he has a point. And it's something we have addressed before. Canes are playing well, and they are. They've won 5 of their last 6. But he still thinks they're a top 6 forward away from being a serious cup contender. Yeah. Yes. They're not a cup contender right now. They are a team that will make the playoffs and could cause a lot of damage in the playoffs. They can determine who won't win the cup, because I think they can beat anybody. But it's hard to go 4 rounds without enough bona fide goal scoring. And I know there's been a sentiment out there that the Hurricanes' style holds them back. We'll have this broader discussion another time. I disagree. I think the one thing that holds them back, goaltending when we get to the playoffs. I would like to see a little more size. Just a little more. By the way, Jesperi Kotkaniemi off to a pretty good start. For me, they still need a better number 2 center. For me. And I think for the head coach, I think they have a lot of number 3 centers, or maybe some 3s and 4s. I still think that's the area they need to upgrade the most, is to find themselves a legit number 2 center. With that said, yes, they do need a bona fide top 6 forward to be one of those teams in the playoffs that can win 16 games. I agree with that. But I don't think this team was constructed in the offseason to have it looked at and go, oh, there's your cup winner. But what we're going to see is where this team is when we get to the trade deadline as they build cap space and see what they go out and try to add if they do. Remember this as we wrap this up. Tom Dundon told me before the season started that he is not really inclined to do the rental again. So I will just say this. Any moves the Hurricanes make at the deadline, I think, will be for a player that will be here. Not that they're going to try and sign in the offseason, but any move they make will be for a player who has time left on his deal. That's what I think they will do. But they are building cap space to enhance the roster when we get to February and beyond. All right, good win. We'll see everybody in Vancouver coming up on Monday night. Again, quite late, but I don't know, maybe not as late as all that. Who knows? We're brought to you by the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. If it's for the exterior of your home, you can find it at the Aluminum Company of North Carolina on Hamlin Road in Durham. No place like it. Sammy Hanna and his crew do a great job. You should check them out. AluminumCompany.com. Go Dodgers. 2-0 up on the Yankees in the World Series. Bummer for Carlos Rodon, who took the loss tonight. But games 3 through 5, if 5 is needed, will be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday in the Bronx until the Hurricanes and the Vancouver Canucks. Thank you very much. Rate, review, subscribe, like, share, tell us about it, and we'll see you on Monday on the Canes Corner podcast. Good night.